David is a resident of Riverton and an engineer working for Riverton Engineering Associates. He has been tasked by the Metropolitan Water Commission to evaluate a proposed change of the Riverton public water source from reservoirs located in another region to using the local river. The purpose of the change would be to reduce expenses for the city. During his evaluation, David's findings turned out to be unfavorable to the proposed change. Appropriate water treatment would need to take place prior to the water source change to ensure corrosion control and prevent lead exposure from the river's old service pipes. David delivers his report to the MWC, clearly outlining the need for a water treatment plan and the potential risks to the health and safety of the public, particularly to children. Despite his warnings, the MWC decides to move forward with the plan to switch water sources, while postponing the water treatment plans for a later date. With professional obligations in mind, David takes the situation a step further.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are here to discuss the proposed change to Riverton's water source. David, please present your findings.
Thank you. My report emphasizes the critical need for corrosion control treatment to prevent lead contamination if we switch to the local river as our water source. Without these measures, public health, particularly for children, will be at significant risk.
David, can you clarify the cost implications of implementing this treatment immediately versus delaying it?
Immediate treatment will incur upfront expenses, but will safeguard public health. Delaying treatment risks exposing the public to elevated lead levels, which could lead to legal, financial, and reputational consequences.
I agree. We cannot put financial savings above the health of our citizens.
But our budget constraints are real. We need to make difficult decisions.
Thank you, David. We will need to deliberate this further.
Along with speaking at the public hearing to the MWC, David also followed up by sending a letter along with the original report to the State Department of the Environment. Unfortunately, the result was that David and Riverton Engineering Associates were discharged from the project.
David, we have been removed from the water source project and Allied Consulting has filled our place. They claim they were unable to find enough information to predict the severity of potential harm to public health. I believe your concerns and actions were justified, but we are no longer part of the project.
After several months have gone by, David comes upon concerning news in the local newspaper.
After reviewing all reports, we approved the water source change, with a 5-year plan for treatment implementation. The phased approach balances cost and safety. 5 years is too long to delay treatment. The health risks remain significant. As an engineer and citizen, I must determine my next steps to uphold ethical responsibility.
At this point, David must begin to consider what it will mean to take further action. Is David ethically obligated to take further action to protect public health, safety, and welfare? If David wishes to take further action to continue to correspond with the MWC or the regulatory agency regarding the public health and safety risk, or to notify the public, what are the ethical considerations in doing so? David will have to make a distinction between professional obligations and personal choice, as he and his employer are no longer involved in the project. David will be ethically obligated to consider the interests of other stakeholders in his actions, which include his employer. He will need to make sure that his employer is informed and concurrent with his actions as long as he continues to work for them. Riverton Engineering Associates likely has a need to evaluate both the business impacts and legal liabilities of such additional steps. According to the NSBE Board review of Case 22-5, clear reporting of unresolved public health and safety risks to appropriate authorities satisfies David's obligation to protect public health, safety and welfare. Secondly, any additional steps taken beyond the notification of appropriate authorities are not an obligation of David, but rather a personal choice as a citizen, and should be taken with consideration of multiple stakeholders in the matter, and the engineer's many ethical obligations. For more information on this case and others, Visit nsbe.org.